Hi, this is Bill. Today I'm here to make a video to share information about my honing method and the use of convex hones for straight razor sharpening. Historically, this is in recent history, this has not been popular, but the way it came about was a gentleman that I had purchased shaving supplies from, particularly straight razors, had been visiting with his vendors in Europe and in discussions about some issues that existed with honing the particular product they manufactured. They informed this gentleman that he was honing wrong. Okay, so nobody wants to hear that. So he went on a pursuit with that, and what he found out was the manufacturers of straight razors would shape the final hones into a convex shape. Okay. And he pursued that and a method to make it and tried to come up with a bunch of ways. And ultimately he came up with, he had sold some stones. I was very, very early adopter of it. It just seemed to make sense to me that for initially the idea of a convex surface seemed to me to be something that would accommodate deficiencies in a particular razor. Later on, as things went along, and through the revelation of some German grinder's handbook that Jared's neighbor found. He was a German guy that when he was in visiting relatives in Bolivia or something, he found this thing in a library, this old grinder's handbook that from like 1950, where they talked about using in the final honing using a convex surface. And in the end of their thing, they pretty much had said, and this has been published, it's been translated to English and published by another gentleman who's been pursuing this particular method. I don't have a copy of it. I've read it a number of times, but it all made sense to me. And one of the things was that from a curved type surface, you could actually begin to thin the bevel area. Okay, so if you have a bevel and you've hollowed the bevel, you could actually thin that a little bit. Something you couldn't do certainly with tape and flat stones. And this is not to be a dig at any other method that anybody uses or has used. If you sharpen your razors and you're happy with what you get when you sharpen them, that's the goal, okay? This was something that just seemed to work for me. But that German grinder's handbook, they talked about using different radius stones and actually hollowing the bevel. Now, initially, my thought on the elliptically convex surface was that it compensates for an inconsistency in the razor. So if you have a razor that has some curvy stuffs in there, and you go along, you're isolating where you're honing, with the hone guide being the spine against the edge, you're isolating that in a small portion. And as your motions, you're only honing, you're only abrading away in one particular area, where you're not having to abrade the whole razor just to get to one particular area. It made sense to me. But then finding out that, and probably what users of this particular thing have done, if you angle that, you can actually work on different radiuses, much the same as this. But the grinder's handbook talked about radiuses, and I shaped some stones that way. I did that, and I probably wouldn't have even made this video I didn't think. I bought this plate from the Superior Shave to shape my hones. At one time, I did not think you'd ever see any more of these. That what was made was it, and there was going to be no more. It turns out that this is January the 8th. In a couple of days, there'll be some more of these available, as I understand. Okay, I initially thought it was going to be like the end of the month, but so for people who have an interest in this, they'll be there for you. If you're in Europe, I think the way to get them in Europe is through eBay. They handle the value-added taxes a little bit better than a small businessman could do. But basically, you take one of these and you put sandpaper on here and you shape it. And I have shaped Caticules, Arkansas. I used Balsa strops, and I shaped all of those using this. And today what I'm going to do, I'm going to test some new stones. So even though I have these other stones that I've gotten to the point that I have used them and liked them, I bought a number of things over the years from sharpeningsupplies.com, and they have this new stone. I showed a picture of it at Straight Razor place, SRP, not the other SRP. And Sharpening Supplies, they have these. They say that these are fast stones and they are durable. They are water stones that you do need to soak. I wanted to buy some of those because it's like one of these stones with the dual sides. This is a little less than 2 inches by 8. They have other different size. They have a larger size with the dual stone. They also have the individual stones, 8 by almost 3 at 1 inch of thickness. I've used them a couple of times, and I'm pretty happy with how they cut. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little demonstration with a razor that I bought from a well-esteemed member of the Straight Razor place, Roger. Thank you, Roger. And I'm going to hone this up. I don't think I'm going to, I'll video the whole thing. I don't think I'm going to leave it all in there. I'll probably edit a bunch of it out. One of the things that in my honing that I always kind of had a problem with was how do you evaluate your edge when you're working on it? Okay, and I found something very, very much by accident. Okay, and I'm pretty sure because I'm the guy, that Convex guy that makes videos, that you'll never see some people making this method of evaluating an edge popular. Okay, they'll do whatever it is they do with their arm hairs or, or whatever they do. But actually, got a shipment and there was a bunch of these in there. And there's a difference in these. There's a packing pin. There's a difference in these, in the composition of those. Some are made typically of polystyrene foam. I think that's what this is. I'm not sure. But some of the ones that are a little bit different don't give you the feedback quite that this does. And what I did was establish for myself some sort of a benchmark. This is a Feather DX with a professional super blade in there, and I wanted to see, well, just how easily does this go in there, and just with a push cut and not a lateral movement. And that became my benchmark for an evaluation. And what I found over time was that here, where I'm doing my honing, I could make this evaluation, and it translated well to when I would shave. Okay, and here's a razor that I'd done recently. This is one of my project things, these Chinese wonders. Okay, you wonder why you buy them sometime. But I honed that with these stones. It was one of the first things I did in testing the stones. And this I'm getting a pretty good push cut on it. Okay, how much lateral movement and how much pressure is something that gives you some sort of a feedback that you like. Prior to that, I've done the thumbnail thing, and that was okay. And probably the best for me was something that I saw the founder of Straight Razor Place do, and I thought, I'll never do that. I saw Lynn Abrams take his thumb and put it on the edge of a straight razor and say, the thumb pad test. I thought that guy is nuts. Okay, but it was something that I had done for years with knives, and I found out that it actually was something that worked pretty good. But I like this a little bit better. It's something, maybe try it. You might like it. If not, well, not. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hone this up. I'm going to hone on my honing gear. This particular stand I had to take because of the one stone. All these stones, I have a 1,000 and a 3,000. I have another one that's a 6 and an 8 that I'll finish with. And the be different. The finish will be in this method. I'll have to cut the video back into it, and then I have a 3 and an 8 with that's curved on a 3-foot radius. This is curved on. It's an elliptical surface, but this is curved on a 12-foot radius this way, 3 foot this way. And when you're honing and you're going across something, you're not going to see me do on this razor. You're not going to see me measure how straight it is, or you're not going to see me tape it. You're going to see me just go, and I'm going to start honing on it. It's going to take me a couple of minutes to get a bevel set on this where I can feel it and check it with a glass, and then I'll move to the refining of it. So I did have to take the little spacer support in the middle out of there for this work. Bear in mind, if you do that with a smaller this like this, because of the curvature of this, it'll rock with that anywhere in there. But bear in mind, this is pretty thin. This would be more prone to, if you drop it, cracking it and that kind of stuff. But sometimes people spend more for a tub of soap than they would actually spend for this. So these are a good value. Most of the time I'll use water, sometimes a little bit of Dawn dishwashing liquid in on the stone. These are marketed as being long wearing stones. I find they do. I have a whole set of Convex super stones by Nanawa. These do, I think, show less of a tendency to wear and less of a tendency to accumulate debris from the abrasion on your razor. So my stroke on this, okay, most of the time you do have to control this a little bit. You do have to move in, and there will be a tendency, because you're moving the razor like this, to for the blade to get a little bit more action out on the tip than it does in here, and certainly more action in the middle. So I'll focus a little bit more with my selective pressure on the heel to try and keep that even, but it just does not. And you could listen. I don't know if this razor had ever been honed. It does not look like it has. Came to me in the original coffin. I think it's the original coffin. It did not have. I don't know if Roger blunted the edge when he was doing a little bit of cleanup work on that or not. I don't know if you can hear that, but it is a active sounding stone for sure. So Okay, so at about 18 minutes after I started yakking, I believe I have what is commonly referred to as a bevel set. Okay, maybe not. This is not going in quite so easy. I am feeling it a little bit grabby on my thumbnail, and that's where, for me, other people would use like grapes and cherry tomatoes or regular tomatoes and everything. And I've used that. I just didn't always have them laying around. Okay. But just right now, I'm out on the toe. It's okay. But I would have said this is okay here. But this is telling me no. So I'm going to be back at it again. Okay, so here I am, 25 minutes in, and I think I'm done with the 1K. I've got to the point where it looks good under magnification, and I'm getting not a push cut, but a pretty uniform, slight slide type cut going in there. Ultimately, I'll be I get that. I don't know. I don't know if this would do the. It feels pretty good there with the thumb, better than it did before. I've never had any luck with hanging hair tests, so I don't know if this does the tree topping it. However people do that, it's just been something that never worked for me. So I'm gonna start to go through a refinement where I'll be using the 3K, and I'll be looking for steady improvements in this with the 3K, and then I'm gonna go to the 6K, and then I'm gonna go to the 10K. All four of those grits have the long radius this way, the short radius this way, and then I'm gonna be doing the compound beveling with an 8K and a 3K on the short radius. Okay, there I am. I'm at 36 minutes on the clock. I don't think I had the camera down, but I had to work. There was a little bit of running this curvy part out here, a little bit of something that I had to take out of there, and I actually had to kind of go on the edge of the stone to work that out. But liking what I'm seeing so far at the 3K stone, so I'm gonna jump ahead to the 6K. And that didn't take long on 6K. Now to 10K. Okay, so there I am at 10K, crooked camera, with the new sharpening supplies, Waterstone. I'm pretty much right there as at one time before I had learned about that ancient grinder's handbook and the use of a stone shape like this. I would have stopped there and I would have gone to my abrasive charged stropping method. Now what I'm going to be doing here, okay, and sometimes particularly this is a little bit of a thinner grind. Sometimes after doing that and then going to this, and I think the Ancient Grinder's Handbook talks about using this first and then gradual increase in the diameter of the use, so it's less curvy as you go along. And then the final would be to where you're actually using a flat or an air flat to actually reach out to the very edge. I like to do that first, and knowing that I've got the edge worked and I've got the edge to where this satisfies me, and then I'm going to take and I'm going to create like a back bevel in there. That back bevel, some of these other razors, as I'm doing that, and some of them even after I've done it, you can actually see where in the bevel you can actually see where you have worked it, where there's a line in there. Some of them it's maybe halfway up the bevel, some a third way up the bevel, depending upon just how thin that razor is. And I'll do that 3K and 8K, and then I'm going to go back to the 10K, which is going to reach back out to the edge again. And then I am going to pull out my 12K Superstone and do that, because this is not one of these project razors that I'm working on. This is a razor that I want to go ahead with what I know works on the edge. But so far, everything I'm seeing on this this particular stone is something that I could recommend. I know my European friends probably don't care, but there are those that are stateside that care about whether it's made in America or not. And this says right on there, made in USA. So don't ask me who the manufacturer of this particular abrasive is. Made in the USA, you could probably, if you're in the know, you could probably hazard a guess pretty easy. One thing on using a curved stone like this, you pretty much want to be perpendicular to the length of the stone, because any skewing you do one way or the other against that curve really makes things less convex. Okay, and I do understand, pretty sure that many European razor makers, if not all of them, well, I know not all of them do it, but use this elliptically convex surface, because I got a brand new Boker razor one time, not too long ago, and I took it with a factory edge because I wanted to try the factory edge. Everybody says how bad factory edges are and you can't shave off factory edge. It's like, to me, it's like no big deal. I mean, you know, no matter what edge you put on it, you're going to have to learn how to sharpen it, or you're going to have to send somebody to sharpen it sometime anyhow. So I really don't care. I'm perfectly fine if the factory didn't put an edge on them at all. I think, you know, so factory edge, shave ready, whatever, it doesn't mean anything to me. But it did, it was a razor that Boker did come, it did shave okay. It was not the best shaver that I had, but it shaved okay. And an interesting thing I did a little magic marker thing on the bevel before I put it on the stone. I shaved with it a few times first, and then decided I was going to hone it up. And I put that on there, and what I found was that on a stone that I had cut on the long radius, so it was already convex in this direction, when I put that razor on that stone, theoretically, since I was using a curved thing, if it had been done on a flat stone at Boker, theoretically I would have been cutting back into the bevel, okay? But on my curvature, I was actually way out to the cutting edge on there and well back into the bevel. The stone was not even touching until I worked it for a little while. So to me, that was another confirmation that this was a method that was pretty commonly used, but not really talked about too much. Okay, I may have almost completely cleared that out, cleared the bevel on this radius. One word of caution, okay, I haven't seen it in my stuff, but when you're using a stone like this, it is possible, if you have a prize showcase queen, that and you're honing on there, some of the swarf or some of the abrasive, particularly if you're using a stone that the abrasive comes off of it relatively easy, can kick up, and it's possible to see some scarring a little bit further as it kind of rolls underneath of there while you're honing. For me, I have not seen it. Okay, as far as I know, the only professional that will hone in this method is the originator, or the the originator of the shaping plate, and the person who revived the style. He will do it. As fee for service. As far as I know, he's the only one. It's not to say that there are not people who do it. I just don't know about them. Okay, but I bought a really nice French razor from him, and I asked him to do it that way, and he didn't want to, because I guess the fear that it could scar up this beautiful piece a little bit. And it's like it doesn't matter to me. It's my stuff. I want to use it. And if it gets a little bit scratched, it's like, you know, if I need a showcase queen, I'm going to keep the showcase queen in the showcase. So he wouldn't do it on that one. I didn't really care, because I knew I could do it. But I thought that was kind of a funny thing to share. So be aware that this is a possible thing that can happen. You know, it's just like I'm honing without tape. You, without a doubt, you would see in any of my work, you would see some traces of me putting this part of the razor against an abrasive and working it as such. Again, if you want to showcase queen, tape it up and protect it, and do that and be happy. Okay, I'm not sure, but I think I completely erased every sign of the initial bevel on the long race and replaced it with this, which is okay. That's the Ancient Grinder's Handbook. I think that's the way they explain that you should do it anyhow. The fellow who had that, I think there was a fellow who published it. They hadn't totally beat him up yet for being on the forums, but he did publish it, and I think they say that use the the real curvy stuff first, and then go to the other stuff afterwards. So after that step, now I'm going back to the longer radius on the 10K stone. It does not take, because that, I'm working on just a part of the bevel. It does not take long at all to have that edge worked. And that, on that test, that's probably about good enough to go to my strops. But I'm gonna do the 12K stone first. Okay, so 12K stone shaped in the same method as the other ones there. I ultimately have always wanted a Suhiro 20K stone. At some point in time, I'll eventually get one, probably. Although I'm unconvinced, since I really finish on Balsa at 10th micron, I'm unconvinced that it can bring me an improvement. But that's the beauty of the whole thing. You never know it until you try it. And it's just like this particular method, you'll never know whether it's going to yield an improvement in your stuff unless you try it. And what I've done with the inexpensive stones, somebody who's on a very tight budget, obviously, this may never be in the cards for you, but if you view this as a hobby in which you spend your time and your money, you may find that that will be something you want to do just to see what happens. I have not seen I've not seen any of these go up on, I might have seen one stone that somebody sold, but you don't see a whole lot of these, and there's quite a few hundred of people who have gotten convex stones and gotten those plates, but you don't see them going up for sale. So that's an indicator that that maybe there's something to it. Okay, so a little bit better with the 12K. Let me take a look at it in the fancy pants. So I can see about that I'm hitting kind of third, 1/3, or maybe a halfway with this stone, and the other one I'm hitting about a half to a third up into the bevel like this. So my final thing now, I'm going back on this. I'm hitting up in here, okay, on whatever curve after I cut this away, I'm hitting halfway in there. So I have developed a thinner bevel, and I'm pretty sure that somebody's going to say thin bevels are no good, but I happen to think that thinner is better. There's a long story behind that, but go take a thick knife and try and cut a carrot, and then take a thin knife with a dull edge and cut a carrot. Plus, the other thing is if you have a thin bevel and it's no good and it's brittle or whatever, it's because you're on a triangle. And if you're on a triangle and you thin it out, which is the only way to thin it out unless you create a curve on there, in which case, you're going to go a little bit further up without really having a big change in the actual width of the edge. Whereas here, as soon as this goes, you don't have to go very far before your edge disappears. So that's pretty much it for the stones. And now I'm going to go to my stropping, which is done on shaped gear in the Convex. And I've gone with I have a bunch of different this is balsa wood. This is a plate. It's a magnetic mount. I've got that and this plate from Chef's Knives to go. Bought a lot of sharpening stuff from them. This is the Dovo green paste. I figure it's probably a little more likely to be consistent over, even though supposedly you can get chrome ox down a half micron. I don't know what the size on this is. I don't think I've read it, but I always sort of figured that this would have been coarser. So this is always the first one I go to. This is shaped, so you do have to. I like to hold this up. I find it working better where the rubber feet kind of stabilize it this way, and I'm kind of making an X-type motion to make sure I get the edge contact all along. There's a reasonably popular honing method using abrasive films, and the fellows that do that are very loyal to that method. They also use Balsa strops in their finishing, but they'll finish with very fine stuff, which I use fine stuff too. But part of the methodology there is that the media, the balsa, needs to be flat, and in that method you should do that. On this method, okay, where I have created a hollow into the bevel, I've got something here, and this is the Dovo red from the Dovo red and black, or Herald pastes. This would be a jeweler's rouge or an iron oxide. The one advantage of working with a convex balsa is that I do not have to worry if you're flat and you get a swell anywhere in there, it gives you multiple points of contact. And the curvature on this, I doubt very seriously that you're gonna, I mean, unless you're soaking this wood, that you, from ambient moisture in the air, that you're getting anything that really changes the same singular point of contact from spine to edge, and the curvature in between. You're just, it's, to me, it makes sense that it would be a consistent method. Another thing that I found with the packing peanut test is, as I go through these strops, I can get a progressive, this is push cutting at times with just a straight push cut, and as I go through these, I can see it easier and easier and easier. And that's another reason I've become so fond of checking my edge that way, is because I don't have to go through, and I've done it. This would be the Dovo Black from the Dovo Red and Black set. I don't have to go through all my progression in whatever, and then go back and shave with it and find out, oh gee, this doesn't shave as well as I like. What I have kind of found is that when I check this here, it's extremely well coordinated against what my sensations are when I shave with a piece. Okay, so on the clock there, the video clock, I'm about an hour in. If I leave this part of the talk in there, it'll be less than an hour. There's a lot of stuff I want to edit out. I don't want to have anybody sitting there for 18 hours watching me yak and sharpen a razor. Now, usually after, and I'm not exactly sure what that is. I don't know if that's what the actual abrasive in that is, whether that's I just don't know. You could speculate what it is. But the real thing that I really found that I really liked, and I'm working on the less expensive ones because these particular ones are charged with CBN. CBN is expensive, okay? Just a little teeny bottle costs you about a fortune, okay? But this was, and this is not a CBN paste. This was an emulsion. This was a Ken Schwartz thing that, I think he still makes it for somebody or sells it through somebody. But he was big on this, and he supplied this through Chef's Knives Go at one time, and it was a spray. It was an emulsion that you would just spray it on it, and it's distributed on it. I don't know if you can see, I got the sun coming in here, so but it distributes pretty well on the balsa. One of the things I liked about CBN is, from what I read, and this goes back really before I even got into straight razors. I remember with knives reading about this, that the particles on that, although not as hard as diamonds, for a given, and this is half micron, for a given half micron versus half micron, okay, because a diamond has a tendency to have a geometry that's a little bit more jagged edged, it can leave a deeper scratch than CBN would. Now, one of the advantages in the film method of sharpening, and one of the things is that you put this on balsa because the abrasive goes down into it, and therefore you don't have it floating around on top. Okay. The same thing about being embedded down into it applies here, but I found this very fast in cutting. Now I am going to get some diamond sprays, and I am going to try them because they are a little less expensive than the CBN. I have significant amount of this particular stuff to hold me, but I just want to try it, and that's a push cut. It's pretty near as good as the Feather Artist Club. Now, I'm not going to make the claim that this sharpening this way is better than an Artist Club. I don't think it is for me. It's let me put it this way: I don't sharpen as well as that particular tool. I just don't. There are people that say they do. You have to believe them because they say it. Maybe they're doing something. I don't know. What I am getting is something that's the best edge on a straight razor, a true straight razor that I can get. Okay, I just have not shaved with anything that beats the compound hollow bevel, and I haven't shaved with anything from anybody that beats a Feather Artist Club. Not to say that it isn't. So if you hone better than an Artist Club, I'm glad that you've found the way to do that. And you'll notice I got to the habit of wiping the abrasive off and in between. So right there, that just it just goes in like really, really. I don't know if you can hear it, see it. Let's see if we can get a particular camera view of that. I mean, it just goes right in there. I personally think this thing is going to be a great shaver. I'll find out. I don't know if I'll do a shave on video and post it for the straight razor place. They typically don't have a lot of shave videos over there, but I could. But you know, who wants to sit around and watch me shave? So that's how this works. It's been good for me. There might be some people who come around and have something to say about me or this particular style. Mostly, I think it's rooted in some sort of hatred for that guy in Florida. Some of that extended over to me. I started talking about this once on, there was a forum that I got tossed out of for talking about this. Whether the straight razor place will toss me out, we'll see. I hope they don't. I'm just trying to share some information and talk about what I like and what works for me. But sometimes people do funny things, so I just couldn't imagine why in a shave forum you can't talk about how you sharpen your straight razors. It just didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. So Bill here, hoping everybody is well and staying away from the plague that's been running around, and being healthy for this new year. So take care. Bill out. left something out. My curvy strop. This is shaped on the same plate. I started off doing this. I saw somebody else do it, and I thought that's a really, really good idea. Then I did one on 2-inch wide, and I took a 2-inch Herald calf hide strop and put it on there to see how well I would like doing this. I liked it, but I have some. Let me try and get this so I'm not not shining with the sun in my eyes. I have some roux that I really, really liked. That is magnetic mounting. It goes on this plate, and I thought, so I was able to source a piece of roux skin, and I put it on here. I mounted it on here with a double stick foam, and I'm not sure if this particular piece of roux is best yet or not. It feels different than the other one. It's definitely a roux hide. Okay. To me, one advantage of using this with a hollow bevel is that I'm working this against the same angle of the back bevel, and the give that's in this, which there's some give in the wood, there's some give in the roux hide, and there's some give in the foam. Okay. My thought is that since it was a possible thought to me that this hollow bevel would be prone to be a little bit more prone to roll or not. It might be. I don't really know. But something like this is, I think, more ideally suited to stropping. And now I still use a hanging strop. I use a hanging strop since I've been doing this. Hanging strops I do differently, and I'm very, very gentle in my motions on the hanging strop. Very gentle, and I do that because I have one that I like a lot. It's horsehide, and I just do like that. Okay, I might like to have a piece of that material mounted on here, but I don't think that makes that much of a difference. And after stropping, whether it be on this or a hanging strop, I can still do my little foam packing peanut test, and I can get the same sort of a result. So let me work that a little bit, and let's see what happens here. Okay, that's just, I believe that goes in better after stropping with these here, and they're certainly really, really keen shavers and really, really smooth shavers. I like them. If you've thought about whether there was something else you might want to try, I'd encourage you to go ahead and try this. Many thanks to Lynn Abrams, who is the godfather of straight razor shaving in modern day, and his forum, and thanks to Jared for taking all the heat and making it available so I could have one of those plates, and other people could have one to try as well. So, gentlemen, I thank you very much. You all have a good day. Greetings, Bill here. I'm going to do some shaving, some shave testing to cover a couple of different things. I made a couple of different honing videos using Convex Hones. I'm going to try and cover all of that in one shave follow-up. The first, and I'm hairy enough. I think it'd be kind of hard to convince some people that shaving is my hobby when I walk around looking like this. The first I'm going to test is a newly acquired razor. I don't know if this was new old stock. It's an old, it says Gong Razor on it. It's between 6/8 and 7/8. Solingen made. Wald would be the I guess the name of the company, and Gong would be the. I acquired this from a gentleman who is like a magnet for some of these type of razors. Roger Hensley. Look the guy up if you're looking to get a good, serviceable, user grade razor. He runs into these all the time. He's very economical with how he distributes them out. He usually gets like what he has in cost, and then a gallon of gas for his Harley. Be glad the guy doesn't ask you to fill up his pickup truck, his 3/4 ton pickup truck, or his luxury American sedan. But anyhow, you could get a razor from him. I've seen a lot of stuff. Very economical, good way to go. He'll hone it for you. I asked him not to hone this one for me because I wanted to do this on my method. He's particular about his honing, but good way to go. Okay, so that I'm going to do half of a shave with that, half of a first pass, and I'm going to skip over my normal first pass, which is down and up, and I'm just going to go right to where I would be on the second pass because I can do that with new steel. And I'm going to compare that, just for comparison's sake, against this. This has been the standard by which I'm chasing my honing. I haven't hit it yet, but I'm chasing it. Okay, you know, it's been my standard for where I go after. This has a Feather Super Professional Super Blade in there. I don't remember whether this is on 2 or 3 shaves, but generally, in my experience, for me, after 3 shaves with this, that's where they kind of go. So the soap today, Sterling for him, which is like one of my super favorite scents. I'm using the symmetrical pottery steampunk bowl. Really cool. I think they put this ceramic on top of a metal and stuff. You can like see the banding and stuff like that. Really cool. They're expensive. You can find them on Etsy. It's the largest bowl I have. It's not the best lathering bowl I have. I like the bowl lather for the simple reason that that's what I like to do. I can get the lather and get it where I want, and then just kind of paint it on. Makes it easier for me on videos. That way I can ratchet jaw without being distracted by how well I'm making the application of the suds. So first up, the Gong Razor. Very nice, very, it does have an edge that is a little toothy. It'll smooth out as I shave with them a couple of times and strop them a little bit. I probably could spend a lot more time stropping to get them smoothed out. It's just on that first shave, I always notice they are that way. Okay, so for my evaluation, I'm still giving it to the feather. I'm still giving it a little bit to the feather. But that was a very smooth cutter. Cut very easily with no resistance. It's not the best edge that I've used that I've honed up, but it is at that point that what it does is it gives me enough of what I like that I have had a renewed love for my straight razors that I had kind of lost when I was not successful in honing razors.